Yeah, I just did that on camera. Let's go. What up, everybody, and we are back with another review. Today we are reviewing that Baby Keem Melodic Blue album. Let's get started. I have to be honest, before Family Ties, I've heard of Baby Keem. My brother has told me about Baby Keem, but I really never sat down and listened to him. So I hear Family Ties, and I'm thinking that when the album drops, everything's gonna be like Family Ties. Then Scapegoats, which is a song that I really love, Wish It Was Longer, appeared as the trailer, and it was called The Melodic Blue. I seen the album cover, and I said, okay, maybe he's not going the Family Ties route. So I sat down with this album over the past weekend, and he did not go the Family Ties route with this whole album. That's not saying the album is bad. It's just that I, not being a Baby Keem fan or listener, did not know what to expect. I went back, listened to Die For My Bitch, and I was like, okay, I get it a little bit. Just, you know, I think this has hints of West Coast in here. Panties, Family Ties is very West Coast. Range Brothers, those are West Coast albums. I heard he's from Vegas. I don't, you know, but I know he's Kendrick's cousin, but then I see it says Carson on his Wikipedia, so Vegas is still West Coast. So I know he's influenced by West Coast music. But then, you know, Trademark. Let's start with Trademark. Perfect intro. And when I listened to it, I'm like, okay, this is where the album is. It wasn't melodic at all. It was, he was bussing on Trademark. Then Issues came after that. I'm like, okay, this is different. And it really set the tone for the whole album, how it's gonna go. It's all over the place. You see all his influence. You see on Scars, you see the 808s and Heartbreaks. You see the Travis Scott. He had the Do-Rag Activity with Travis Scott. Not a fan of that song, but you see that. You see the Kendrick. He even reminds me of Weeknd a little bit on some songs. So, you know, yeah, Trademark, and then Issues comes on. I like Issues. Lost Souls, another joint I like. With very melodic. Trying to find a bitch that no one knows. She fucked OVO and Romeo. The end of the song, I thought it was a different song, but was dope. I just like the whole Lost Souls concept. You know, you trying to find a woman that ain't been with nobody else or been with a whole bunch of other people, especially in the industry, in that industry. So I liked where he was going with that. Scapegoats, like I said, I wish it was longer. You know, if you hear Family Ties and you hear Scapegoats, you wouldn't even know they're from the same artist. So that's what I mean. This album is all over the place. Then you have, like I said, Scars, very 808s and Heartbreakish. Why This Life You Gave Me Was So Hard, running them streets thinking I would never get touched. He talks a lot, you know, he talks about his grandma, he talks about his mom, he talks about his upbringing. He talks about a lot of that stuff on this album. And I like that, but then there's songs like Coco with Don Tolliver, terrible. Boo Man, not a fan. Vent, I like Vent. Do-Rag Activity, really not a fan of Travis Scott, so I wasn't really feeling that vibe. He ended the album with 16. And so then you had Family Ties, then you had Range Rover. I mean, this album is really like all over the place. It shows his range. It also shows maybe he's not as polished as he may be in the future. He's still very young. I mean, you can do multiple things on the album. I just think when you come out with a single called Family Ties and how they were rapping on that single, then you come out with the commercial, the Melodic Blue with that album cover. It is two different things, and you can be two different things, but I mean, I think it sets the listener up for people who haven't listened to you, that they think they're going to get one thing and they get the other, and then maybe they want Family Ties, but they didn't really get anything that resembled Family Ties. Vent was a little bit, the Range Brothers with Kendrick was like a prelude to that. Kendrick's verse was, and I'm a big Kendrick fan, like love Kendrick. He's my favorite MC like today. Nas and then Kendrick's for the newer not new, but like the last 15, 20 years, Kendrick's my favorite MC. And that verse was really, the ad-libs was more spot on for me than the actual verse, and more memorable. And so all in all, I think, you know, I think Keem is a dope artist. I really do. I think he has a bright future. I think this is a good album to launch PG Lang off. I just don't think it's gonna be at, and maybe I'm wrong, at nobody's top list, and he's not making music for that anyway. But I didn't see me going back to this album except Family Ties. Family Ties I will keep playing. It's one of my favorite songs of the year. But excuse me, drinking super dank right now from Original Pattern. What's up? I just don't. I think creatively he has some good songs. I think you could tell some South influence on there. It's a lot of new school music. I'm 36 years old, so it's not something. Some of the songs are not things. The beats were really new schoolish, and that's okay. Like, that's okay. It actually, a lot of these songs sounded like stuff from Donda, actually, like from Donda sessions. So I don't know when this was recorded, but it does feel like Donda to me at points, because Donda had a lot of late registration. It had some 808s. It had Pablo. Like, it was everywhere. And I think this album is kind of like that. It is everywhere. It's not consistent. When you think it's going one way, it goes the other way. When you hear Family Ties, then it's this song. When you hear Do-Rag Activity, then it's this song. Like, it takes you on a roller coaster of emotions, and for your ears, if you're listening to a Nas album, it's kind of, it's all this way. It's no, I don't even know what I'm doing with my hands right now, but it's not all over the place. And I just feel this album is all over the place content wise. Like, he'll have songs like Issues, and then he'll be talking about my bitch and this and that. So I'm like vibing, but then I'm not young again. I'm not young, so I can't really relate. But then again, 1920? So, I mean, shit, when I was 1920, I was all over the place too. I mean, so I'm trying to, have my ears as a 36-year-old married man of 2 kids, and still keep in mind listening to the youth and appreciating what they do. And I think for youth rappers and new MCs, I think he has a good project on his hands. Is it something that me or my crowd or my demographic would gravitate to? I don't think so. But I think maybe for the new generation, it is something. I do hear hints of Kendrick in there a lot, and I like that. But at the same time, I think he's trying to carve out his own niche at the same time too. So, good album. Not something I'm going to revisit. It's not something I'm going to revisit, but it's a cool album. It's a cool album, especially for, his big world debut. So that's all I got to say. Until next time, you guys take care. Peace and love. Be safe. 1.